And whereas on that day and came to the aid of that citizen. And whereas these three individuals took prompt action by calling 911 immediately, and two of the citizens took turns performing CPR until the City of Piqua paramedics arrived on the scene. And whereas the heroic efforts of these citizens, along with their calmness and life-saving skills, saved a life that day. And whereas today, February 5th, 2019, we are honoring three citizens for their heroic efforts. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize and thank the following individuals: Susan Bollinger, William Bollinger, and Kayla Miller. Now therefore, I, Catherine B. Hines, the mayor of the City of Piqua, do hereby recognize these citizens for their acts of kindness, and we thank them for their heroic actions. Thank you all very much. And the good news is Kayla has been in contact with the person they saved. Their family has been in contact with her as well, and she continues to recover. So we give thanks for your efforts, and there's one of these for each of you. And such a blessing. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you. Yeah. And now we move to our Piqua Health Board meeting. And the first on our docket is our consent agenda.
There are two items on the consent agenda tonight: the approval of the minutes from the Tuesday, July 19, 2016 Piqua Health Board meeting, and a resolution employing James Burkhart, D.O., as Medical Director of the Board of Health.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the consent agenda passes. And now I need a motion to adjourn our Piqua Health Board meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of adjourning our Piqua Health Board meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we move to our regular Piqua City Commission meeting. And the first thing on the agenda is, our docket is the consent agenda.
One item, approval of the minutes of January 15, 2019 regular City Commission meeting.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent agenda passes. And now we move to our new business. The first is ordinance number 1-19. This is a first reading.
An ordinance amending Chapter 33 of the Piqua Municipal Code Employment Policy.
Mr. Patrizio.
Late last year, the commission adopted a similar ordinance, and the ordinance created a liability, by what they adopted, created a liability to the city in an amount of about $400,000. Now, this liability doesn't cause the city to immediately pay out this money. It goes on the books. This creates problems for the cities if they were to go out for bond ratings and things of that nature. Doesn't mean the city's going to pay out that type of money this year, but it potentially could, but it's very unlikely. The changes that I made to this ordinance reflect the past practices of how sick time was paid out for terminated or employees that left or were left or retired. And I just asked the commission to adopt it. If they wish to waive the 3 readings, that's fine. The main reason for the changes, quite frankly, is to reduce that liability and also to change it to reflect what has been done in the past.
Great, thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from the commission on this ordinance? Any questions or comments from the public on this ordinance? Do we have a motion to waive the 3
I make a motion to waive the 3 reading rule.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of waiving the 3 reading rule, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now the ordinance is before us. Do I have a motion for that?
So move.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of ordinance number 1-19, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the resolution passes. And now, or the ordinance passes, I apologize. And now we move to resolution number R-6-19.
A resolution authorizing a one-year lease with Piqua Youth Baseball and Softball Association.
Mr. Brookart.
The Piqua Youth Baseball Association would like to renew their lease for the 2019 season. This lease will start at the beginning of March of 2019 and run through the end of February of 2020. One change that I made in their lease is that we are going to maintain the turf. We're going to mow the grass for them inside and outside of the facility. From now on, that way they can concentrate their efforts on the infields themselves.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this resolution?
Yeah, I have a question. Would there be any harm in making this a yearly long-term lease? So all PYBSA has to do is say, yeah, we want to do it again, give you whatever the money amount is, and it goes to the next year. Then the next year they can do it and go to the next year, rather than having to do this every year.
My goal is to get them on the same rotation as football and soccer are right now. Football and soccer currently have a 3-year lease that they hold with the city, and when their terms are up, I'd like to get them all on the same schedule and have them on the same 3-year rotation.
I think we can do that with the next one.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, that works.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the commission? Any questions or comments from the public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number R-6-19.
I'll second it.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution passes. And now we move to resolution number R-7-19.
A resolution to levy assessments to pay for the cost of nuisance abatements.
Ms. Welker.
Thank you. This is a quarterly nuisance assessment that we are now bringing to you quarterly. We started this last year. This encompasses when the city abates nuisance issues at properties after the property owner's been notified of the condition and given a time frame to comply. If they fail to do so, the city then abates that nuisance condition, bills the cost of that service back to the property owner. If they fail to pay that bill, then it appears here before you so that we can assess that cost back to the property taxes. The county auditor allows us to submit them only once per year. We did decide to start presenting it to you quarterly to give ample notice to not only current property owners, but those interested in purchasing property in the city so that they can have a way to look up these issues and see if there's any pending bills on a property before they purchase it. So this, again, is just encompasses mainly the last 3 months of 2018 for nuisances that were abated.
Okay, great, thank you. Any questions or comments from the commission on this resolution?
Does this also cover the back money they owe, or is this just for that quarter?
This is just that quarter. So if there were billings prior to that, they show up on that quarter, and they are then posted on our website. And then once per year, the county will assess it to the actual property tax.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the commission? Any questions or comments from the public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move we adopt resolution number R-7-19.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution passes. And now we move to resolution number R-8-19.
A resolution requesting authorization to agree upon easement and right of entry on the property located at 1319 Stratford Drive, being owned by Jerry L. and Jonell C., a.k.a. Joe Nell C.
Mr. Melvin.
Thank you. This is part of our wastewater pumps replacement and eliminations project. And with this property, current easements come off of Hillcrest Avenue. The property sits behind houses on the north side of Hillcrest and then the east side of the 1319 Stratford. It's virtually landlocked for construction aspects. And with our city engineer, Amy Havener, thank you to her. She's not here tonight, but and then with our brokering company, OR Colon, and then the property owners, we've worked to try to have better access in, definitely for construction purposes, but this will also allow us, we're going to utilize their driveway to come in through their driveway, and then as the construction process ends, we'll be able to use that as a permanent perpetual easement. So again, we'll still need to get back there. New pump stations, it won't be for quite some time, but we will have a pull behind generator that if we were to have a power outage, we would need to get back there currently to build, and to actually get back there now is tough. So we're just asking to enter into this agreement to have an easement and an access road.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the commission?
So are you guys going to build an access road back to the pump station?
Their driveway will be part of the access road, and then part of their backyard then will be turf back to the pump station. The pump station actually sits on another property, but there's actually no way to get to the property other than the Stratford Drive.
So do we
entrance.
need to have anything that says that every time the city goes on their property, it's automatically restored back to the way it was in case something happens that you guys tear something up?
Well, that's how it reads for all, definitely for the construction aspect, but there will be a road, essentially, with the turf grass and their driveway.
Okay, because I was just wondering if, let's say you guys have to go back there when it's wet and you tear up their yard, is there a perpetual thing that says the city will go back in and fix your yard after they're done?
Oh, of course, but that's hence the part of having the turf grass as a driveway. There's Greenville schools that have this same system that is for fire access, not to tear up the yard, so you're not sinking in. It has a gravel base, and then it has plastic media pavers, and then grass is able to grow up, so it just doesn't look like a concrete driveway all the way back.
Okay, all right.
And we'll just stay on that.
All right,
It's
thank
wide
you.
enough.
Any other questions from the commission? Do we have any questions from our public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of resolution number R-8-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the resolution passes. And now we move to the public comment portion of our meeting. Do we have any public comment this evening?
Good evening, Commission. Russ Fashioner, 801 Forest Avenue. Questions and concerns, and maybe the commissioners have questions and concerns for me. I've got a stack of paperwork, emails, starting somewhere early December about a property next door to me that's being used as a business. I've got broad shoulders. I'll take the heat for complaining. It's been called a complaint in emails back and forth. An email I received back today says on Monday, upon speaking with the landowner, the adjustments in response to the complaints will be implemented by Monday, February 11th. My question is, I guess, number one, City Commission, in the emails I've sent in the last 3 months, in a round number, are you familiar with what I'm talking about? Home-based business, what you can and can't do, and what's going on my block in the parking situation, parking in the alley, parking in the yard. I can't get through the alley. Neighbors can't get through the alley. It's a drive-through. My question to the commission, to keep this short and simple, is there any questions for me? And after this email I got back today from the planning and zoning, come Monday, if I'm still seeing it, is the city of Piqua going to enforce the rules and regulations of a home-based business that you can't have people working there that don't live there, which I've seen from day one. This person's pulled a fast one on myself. Other neighbors of mine are in the audience sitting with me tonight, just for your information. That's who those people are. They pulled a fast one on the city, and I'm not blaming the city. I'm not pointing the finger at the city. I just know what the rules are, the way I interpret the rules. I'm abiding by the rules as a self-employed person, and I expect the city to make this person next door to me do the same, let alone the traffic congestion that is created out front when employees were parking out front, and the horn honking. And I don't know the numerous people that have told me what's going on next door to your house that they're parking on the street now all of a sudden. A gentleman stopped me on Main Street the other day. It was probably 20 degrees out. Actually, I stopped him and talking just in passing and realizing he lived up around the corner from me in Upper Fountain. He said he's lived there for 60 years and never had to deal with that issue on my street. And it's legal to park there, but it's also an embarrassment. And I want to know, is the city going to take care of this problem? That's my question. And I don't know who's got the answer for me.
Well, I think you were given the answer today.
Well, the answer, in saying that, I also say I think it was December 18th would have been the last commission meeting of the last year. And before the meeting, I was prepared to come up here and do the same thing. And Chris Measing stopped me and said, this landowner was told me he's getting an office, problem's going to go away. When I popped in, I'll guess 2 weeks later and said, where are we at on that? Well, he changed his mind. He's not going to do that.
I was
So,
going to say, I spoke to Chris this evening, and he shared with me that he was going to move his office somewhere else, so to another property that he has.
well, I'm just saying, I've been told that before, and Chris has been told that
Yeah.
before. I'm not after Chris. I'm not after the city. It's, here's the rules. But when we've been told something before and they don't do it, are we being told something again and they're not going to do it? It's, when I was a kid, there was a plumbing shop 2 blocks down. I wasn't allowed to play in the alley as a kid on the bicycle because that gentleman would come off Park Avenue and fly down the alley of the next block. Now I'm seeing the kids grow up on my block, that there's people coming through the alley, that they don't know what houses the kids are at. Same thing all over again. And I don't know what else to do besides, I've talked to Gary, I've talked to Chris. I started out at the low end at the code enforcement. And here we are roughly 3 months later, and I'm feeling like the bad guy because I'm complaining, pointing out here's what the rules are, and getting emails that say we see nothing wrong with that anything wrong is going on there. And I'm seeing it every day and trying to tell you every day. So I'll be back up in 2 weeks if the problem's not going. I'm just saying, we've been told this before.
You're not a bad guy. You're a
Well,
concerned citizen, and you want to see something done.
Glad to hear that. So, other than that, thank you for your time, and hopefully this does go away.
Thanks for coming
Well,
up.
I have a question. If the property owner chooses not to comply, do we have anything to help convince him to?
Well, that would be a legal issue.
Yeah, it would be.
I mean, there's enforcement mechanisms in the code.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Russ. Any other public comment this evening? If not, we will move to the city manager's report.
No report tonight, thank you.
Okay. And we'll move to commissioner's comment. Why don't we start with commissioner vote?
Well, here it is, February. Got 10 months left on this term I have. Been thinking about it, and I'm not going to run again. I'm telling people now, I'm not going to run again. You hear on television, everybody is going to run for something. I'm not running for president, but I am not going to run for city commissioner again. Well, I would like people to think about, do you want to be a city commissioner? There's more to being a commissioner than winning the election. There's a lot of things that you have to do. And research it, talk to people. If you're interested, call me. I will try to lead you down the right path. This will make 16 years for me. Evidently, I've done something right. And I'm just letting it out there that I'm not going to run again. So if anybody is interested, start thinking about it now. And that's all I have.
Thank you for your time on here.
How many years, Commissioner Vogt?
This will make 16.
16. You have done your time, so,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Well, you make it
Commissioner
sound
Martin?
like a prison.
I know, it didn't sound
exactly.
right, I know, well.
Exactly.
Well, I was gonna say, you have served your time, but that would be the same thing, so, yeah. But we do, it is a job that many times does not go appreciated, so thank you for 16 years, Commissioner Vogt. Commissioner Martin?
Nothing
Nothing?
tonight.
Okay, Commissioner Lee?
I'd like to start by thanking Brian Brookhart and the street department for successful snow removal. I've heard from lots of satisfied customers and citizens that the streets were a lot better than in Troy and Sydney and different places. And so you get kudos from me. I was happy. I live on High Street, it's the main thoroughfare, and it was pretty clear, you know, and I can get in and out easily. So thank you very much. You did a great job. And the street department guys did a great job. We appreciate you. And next Saturday, I was present with Mayor Hines and her husband at Black History Month breakfast at Transform Life Church. It was sponsored by Larry Hamilton and Pastor Brian Hamilton. They're not related. They made that a point. So it was a good time to network with other people. Chief Police was there. He was present. And to recognize Black history that we have in Piqua, because we have significant Black history in Piqua, and a lot of people aren't aware of it. It brought about some awareness, and it made me think that, you know, this is Black History Month. And in my house, growing up, Black history was pretty significant. I had my mom graduated from high school, and my dad only went to 8th grade, but he loved poetry. And his favorite poem was by Maya Angelou. And if you guys will indulge me, I'm going to read this poem, just because I really like it, and it is Black History Month. It's called I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. The free bird leaps on the back of the winds and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wings in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with fearful trill of the things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade wind soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on the dawn bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams, his shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings for freedom. That was my mom's favorite poem. She used to read it to me. She taught me a lot about Black history and what it meant. And I just wanted to share that with you. This is Black History Month. Just celebrate with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Lee. It was a good event on Saturday. It was wonderful to see a lot of people there, and continued conversation about some future events this year to celebrate Black history here in our
That's great.
community. And so,
And we challenged Larry Hamilton to organize and get people involved, and he did exactly what we asked him to
He
do.
did.
So I got to give him kudos.
Yeah.
I appreciate him.
yeah, that's good. Thank you. Commissioner Short?
I have nothing tonight.
Okay. I have a couple things. Speaking about the elections, a couple years ago when we had the last elections for the commission seat, an attorney in town, Mike Gutman, did a workshop here in the commission chambers for anybody who was interested. There were packets from that workshop that are still in the city manager's office, so if somebody wants to come and pick up that package, it talks about what our charter says. It talks a little bit about kind of the process of putting your name on the ballot. So if there's any citizens who are interested in running and want to pick that up, you can come by the city manager's office during office hours. I want to make people aware of an event that the City of Piqua, Main Street Piqua, and the library are putting on, and this is the first of 4 events. It's called Letters from Piqua. Do you have a letter from a loved one that mentions Piqua in it? We invite you to read your letter at our Letter from Piqua's events. The first one is Love Letters from the Past. This is a 4-part series that celebrates the relationships that have blossomed here in our community, the City of Piqua. The first event is February 12th at 6 o'clock at Piqua Public Library. It will be held in the lobby. And there's more information online, on Facebook. There's an event page there. If you want to read a letter from the past, you need to submit that information so we'll know how to put the evening together. But just a wonderful way to celebrate our community and celebrate some of the history of our community and some of the beautiful letters that have been written over the years. So I invite our citizens to be part of that. Also, on the 13th of this month, Wednesday at 6 o'clock, there is a public open house regarding the Great Miami River Pedestrian Bridge. And so if people want to come for a public meeting from that, this is the pedestrian bridge, bike bridge that will replace the one that's down by the old power plant. And so if you're interested in hearing about that, Wednesday, February 13th from 6 to 8, we'll be having a meeting for that. So I wanted to make sure that our citizens knew about that as well. And is there anything else that we have? If not, I need a motion to adjourn to executive session, and this is to consider pending or imminent litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Short,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt,
Aye.
Commissioner Martin,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned to executive session.